much you've changed in your beliefs over time, you realize that this is just a part of the human journey. And so rather than saying, you know what, I'm going to assume that I'm the ultimate source of truth and put the Bible on trial, I want to assume that I actually don't have all the answers. I want to assume that I don't have it figured out and be open to what the scriptures might teach. Now, here's the thing. To a certain extent, all human beings are a product of the culture and the environment we grew up in. So when we look at what I believe, and when you look at what you believe, you have been shaped and formed by the household you grew up in, by the culture that you grew up in here in America. The things that we believe as humans are shaped by the way that we grew up and the culture that we grew up in. And the problem with this is, as you know, especially the older generation who's been around a long time, culture is constantly changing. The things that culture says are true and the things that culture says are okay is constantly shifting and changing over time. Most of our grandparents, for example, if you're one of the millennials or Gen Z, most of our grandparents believed 50 years ago that to come to church, you couldn't wear this. You couldn't wear a t-shirt, you couldn't wear a gold necklace, you couldn't wear like some skinny jeans. You couldn't do that. Here's what they believed. Throw this baby up, look at this. This was 50 years ago, right here in this exact same spot. Exact same spot. Here's the preacher right here. Don't know what his name is. He is fresh. He's got a fresh tux on and whatnot. All the people sitting in the back, their nice dresses and stuff like that. Check this out. Next slide here. This is 50 years ago, right outside of the church. Every single person in their suit and ties, wearing their tuxes. All the ladies wearing some nice dresses. Now, I'm looking around the room here. I don't see anybody in a suit and tie, and I don't see anybody wearing a dress. But guess what? 50 years ago, the culture believed to go to church, you have to dress a certain way. You have to look a certain way. And everybody believed that across the board. There wasn't no one dude rolling in ahead of the curve, I got my skinny jeans on, I'm good to go. That wasn't a thing. 50 years ago, our grandparents believed, and some may still believe that, this is a whole other subject we're not getting into today, but that it was sinful and evil to have tattoos. And that if you have tattoos, that you can't be a good person and you can't actually be a Christian. This is what most people believed 50 years ago. And the crazy thing is, where we're at today, the fact is, and the reality is, in 50 years, I'm going to have some grandkids, you're going to have some grandkids and great-grandkids, and they're going to think that what you believe right now is absolutely crazy. In the same way that we look back and go, I can't believe they believe that, that's so weird. They're going to think that of us. That's going to be me in 50 years, that's going to be you in 60 years. So the problem with this is, we don't know which things in 50 years we're going to look back on and go, why did I believe that? The things that our grandkids are laughing at, they're probably going to throw a picture of me up on the screen in 50 years and be like, look at this guy wearing his gold, like, and I'm like, yeah, that was dumb, right? I'm probably going to do that. So here's the reality. Culture constantly shifts. Culture is constantly changing, and we don't know in the future what beliefs we're going to look back on and go, why did I believe that? Why was that true? Why did I think that that was the way it needed to be? So here's the thing, and here's the question for us. Is what we hold to be true, and are our beliefs only being shaped by the culture? So as culture changes and says, these things are now acceptable, these things are now okay, are we just going with the flow and the current of culture to shape our beliefs? Or are we inviting God into the process to shape us and to change us? And this is so important. We have to ask this question for ourselves. Is what I believe today only because this is what culture says is okay? Or is God a part of the equation?